my talk basically follows right along with what Cynthia was going over, also requiring quite a bit of research. She's explaining that you need to do a lot of research for colleges. Well, if you want to look at careers, that's also what you want to do. So this is an area that I think a lot of parents are very concerned about as far as how their kids are going to find a career that's going to be beneficial for them, that's they're going to be successful in and be financially successful also. Okay, but I also think it's an area that I think a lot of students don't pay enough attention to. Okay, so now when you're trying to decide on a career path, what you want to do is always actually take a look at what the student is interested in. You want to look at basically what are their strengths and weaknesses. Okay, but another point that needs to be looked at also is the impact of technology and how that's going to impact future jobs. So I'm going to start here right now with a very short little video by Michio Kaku, who's actually a futurist and a theoretical physicist. Very interesting what he says here.
It turns out the jobs of the future will be those jobs that cannot be done by artificial intelligence and robots. And there are huge gaps in what a robot can do. Robots have very bad eyesight. They see lines, circles, squares, but they don't understand that these lines, circles, squares make up a face, or a chair, or a cup. Pattern recognition is one of the big problems. Second, common sense. They don't understand the simplest things about human behavior, about the world. They don't know that water is wet. They don't know that strings can pull, but strings cannot push. So the two jobs that will thrive in the future and the two sets of jobs that will be destroyed are as follows. Among blue-collar jobs, repetitive jobs are going to be wiped out, obliterated. This means jobs in the automobile industry, textile industry that are purely repetitive are in danger. Non-repetitive jobs in blue-collar work will thrive. Garbage men, sanitation people, gardeners, police, construction workers, every job is different. They will survive. In white-collar work, it defies common sense. The people who will be thrown out of work are middlemen, low-level accountants, bookkeepers, agents, tellers, middlemen. The friction of capitalism are going to be obliterated. So who will benefit among white-collar workers? Workers who engage in intellectual capitalism. What is intellectual capitalism? It involves common sense. In other words, creativity, imagination, leadership, analysis, telling a joke, writing a script, writing a book, doing science. Realize that England, said Tony Blair, derives more revenue from rock music than it does the coal industry. Because we're making the transition from commodity-based capital like coal to intellectual capital like rock and roll.
So again, you can see that basically you really have to take that into consideration, the impact of technology into the future. They recently had a raise in the minimum wage, and it's going to be going up to 15. And so what did McDonald's do? They actually, and not here locally, but in a lot of places, they actually put in kiosks now. Okay, where you can just go in and order what you want on it, whatever, and they got rid of all the other people. Okay, so again, technology here. So, but there are other experts that say differently. Okay, so they don't always agree. What you want to do is do your research. You want to do your research on basically how is the technology impacting the areas that you're looking at, your career, your potential careers. Okay, and the thing is, as we progress, technology is impacting our future on a faster and faster basis. Things change faster and faster all the time. So students and parents have to continuously do research all the time and see what's going on. How are things being impacted? Okay. Now that said, one of the sites that I actually recommend is CaliforniaCareerZone.org. Okay. This is actually a site that I actually recommend as a springboard for doing career research. Okay. The reason I say a springboard is because there's a lot of information here, tons of information, but you want to do additional research beyond this. Now, this is also a site that a lot of times here locally, some students have been exposed to, and they say, oh yeah, we know about this, but they haven't really explored it, really, not really, okay, because there's so much information here, okay. So again, the full URL is www.careerzone.org, CaliforniaCareerZone.org. When you first go into the site, okay, that's what it looks like. It is, and there's tons of information there, okay? Now, what you can do is you can actually start off by going to take a tour. It's a video tour that tells you to the whole site and exactly where everything is and what you can do with it. Another way to actually go is to go into the visit the Educator Center. This is for educators to design programs for students to help them to figure out a career for themselves. Okay, but it's available right there. You don't have to be an educator. You can be a parent and just go in and see what are they using, okay, what are they doing, okay? Now, down below there are three main areas. There's the assess yourself, explore industry sectors, and make money choices. On the assess yourself, what you do is basically exactly that. You assess yourself. There's different ways to do that. There is a quick assessment, which goes over, they try to match your personality, okay, to different jobs. There's an interest profile, like what are your interests? There's a skills profile, what are you good at? Okay, a work importance profile, what is important to you? Is it, are you going to be involved with something? Is it important for you to do something that's going to basically, you know, save the whales? You know, is it going to be something that's important for you that's artistic or whatever? So, if you click on any one of those, there are a number of different assessments that help you then, that will then tell you, okay, it looks like you are good for this. Okay, that's one way. Then we have this explore industry sectors, where you basically have clusters of careers where you can actually get a lot of information and research there on that. Done. We're going to come back to that. The other one is going to make money choices, okay? And that, they take it from two different ways. By choosing your lifestyle. Okay, I want to have a great house, I want to have a nice car, I want to have the latest phone, I want to have this, I want to have that. Say, great, great, great. They take all this into consideration and say, great, okay, this is how much money you have to make. Okay? And then, or they'll say, okay, I think I'm going to basically, I'll be able to make about blah, blah, blah. Great, okay, good. Then we'll go the other way. All right, good. Now let's take, okay, so you want this house. Okay, good. Well, you're going to have to drive a beautiful car. Okay, or you're going to have to do this. You start to actually take a look at what are some of the things that you need to consider. Okay, so because now they're going to start having to pay things on their own. Okay. Okay, now the other way is to look here through explore industry sectors, and I'm going to go expand on that. So there are again clusters of types of jobs that are available there. So you have agriculture and natural resources, arts, media and entertainment, energy, environment, and utilities. All of these, they cluster a whole bunch of different jobs, professions into these particular areas that are somewhat related. So let's just pick one. I'm going to actually just pick one, which is the engineering and architecture. So it's going to go to a whole bunch of jobs that are within that field. And the same thing could be done with any one of those clusters. So click on that. And this is what you get, engineering and architecture. And it starts listing a whole bunch of different jobs that you have available in that sector. And you can have it filtered by the highest paying, the fastest growing, or the most employed. You decide how you want to actually have them come up. Okay, but then it starts listing, like right at the very top, again, it's highest paid, architectural and engineering managers, computer hardware engineers, petroleum engineers, it goes down, okay? And then you go on, and it continues the list. It keeps on going down farther and farther. There's actually goes into actual education and training, some possible institutions for those different, actually, those to get into that field, into those fields. And then it goes down more, and then it goes view all. So there's more, okay? So there's a lot of information down at the bottom, more about engineering and architecture, okay? At the bottom, there's a whole, you know, blurb on engineering and architecture. So again, it gives you more information about that cluster of or types of jobs. Okay. Now we're going to go to the top. Yes.
Is this specific to California only?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now you go to the top of the list, and you can click on any one of those and it'll give you more information about that particular type of job, that particular job. So I'm going to check the top one, architectural and engineering managers, okay? Now, so click on that, and now it gives a whole bunch of information about the job. What are other things that it's called? What do they do? What is the preparation required, okay? Tons of information on this one, and it's done for every one of those that are listed. Now, you notice that there's actually a video. Many of the jobs that are listed, careers that are listed, also have a video that explains it very thoroughly. They don't all, but many of them do. So we are going to play this short little video.
Behind the construction of every building, road, and crucial network of piping is an architectural and engineering manager. They are the leaders who research and develop new projects and ensure high standards of quality and safety while also considering the impact on the environment and user needs. These managers craft detailed plans to meet technical goals, from mapping out training, staff, and equipment needs to evaluating welding subcontractors and asphalt grades to calculating the structural stability of a building site. Based on this research, they propose budgets and lead teams of architects and engineers to execute the project. Architectural and engineering managers often work more than 40 hours per week to meet deadlines and budgets. While many work in offices, it's also fairly common to work in a lab or on a construction site. They typically enter the position with at least a bachelor's degree in either architecture or an engineering specialty. They must have very thorough work experience in the field to earn a management role and may add a second degree in business administration or in a related field.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a very short little video, but it's very comprehensive. There's a lot of information right there, okay? All right, now, we'll go down farther. It goes into a whole thing of what they do, explanation of what people in this job, what they do, okay? What are their wages? Now, they usually, in a lot of these professions, it does give 2017 related wages, okay? So it's pretty recent. Now, in the Outlook, for some reason, it actually goes down to 2014. So a couple of years, things may have changed. Could be better, could be worse, okay? But again, on this site, there's a lot of information. Goes down, actually, what are the interests? People that work in this occupation, they have an interest. What are they interested in? What do they normally do? What are the work values? What are some of the things they need to know? What are some of the things they need to be able to do? Okay, so again, tons of information on that one job, and that's actually for all of those jobs listed. So you actually find a cluster of jobs that are possibly interesting. You know, you go into there, it gives you information, then you go to the actual listing of them, you look at something that actually looks like it might be good, you click on that, it gives you information about the job, what its potential, and you know, a lot of information there. Yes?
Does it kind of show, like, obviously this is, you know, the tippy top, right? But does it show kind of like, if you, like, a potential path?
Yes.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like first year, second year, not necessarily that you're going to become that person in 5 years, but...
It gives you a general idea of that. It's not specifically broken down, but yes, it does. So again, it's CaliforniaCareerZone.org. And again, I say that it's actually a springboard because it gives you a lot of information, but you don't want to stop there. You need to continue to do more research and take a look at those particular fields. You want to look at what is it going to be, again, that is of interest to your son or daughter, and that they could be successful in, and that's going to be there. You say, yes.
And so when we did with Cynthia, the assessment, it says, you know, you'd work this on there, the other assessment, does it kind of say, maybe you're interested in these careers after the results of your test?
Well, these are two different things. Now, this is actually, as a general, this is usually done, this is targeted primarily to high school students to start to look at the actual career, okay? Cynthia, what she was talking about is now they're looking at more in the area of trying to select a major, and from there, now, they
I
could
was
very
talking
much...
about the assess yourself on this site.
Oh, okay, yes.
Does that kind of go into the make money choices, or the sector? Is that hand in hand?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does. Okay, yeah. So now, one point there, again, due to the actual technology and the impact of that, the thing is that all these jobs, especially the higher paying jobs, are becoming more and more competitive. Okay? So the thing is that it's not going to be just good grades and even degrees. Okay? It is, can the student actually do something? Can they produce a valuable product? Can they provide a valuable service? Okay? Now I bring this up here because here at Success Tutoring, we have seen a lot of students that basically have taken a lot of material, a lot of classes, whatever, but what happens is they study to pass a test. That's very different from study so that you can do something with it. It's very different, okay? Students, as a general rule, are taught to study to take a test. That's what's being requested. That's what students do. They take the test. 2 weeks later, it's all gone. Okay? You don't know how many students we have worked with that basically come in, oh, well, I took this, I got A's, I did great, okay, good. I do an assessment, okay, they forgot it. Why? Because they studied for the test. They did not study to learn it, to understand it, to be able to do something with it, okay? Now, here, what we do, our tutors really work with students to help them to really understand the material, be able to actually understand the underlying concepts, be able to actually do something with it, okay? We don't just work with students to help them to learn memory tricks so they can pass a test, okay? Or, different tricks or things like that. There are places that do that. We don't do that, okay? Now, that said, there are some things that you have to learn in school that truthfully don't have really much application. That is true. So if that's the case, fine, study, memorize, pass the test, you're done, okay? But if it's something that is of interest or something that may impact you, you need to actually really study to learn it. As an example, okay, very, very, very bright students have taken AP classes, as well as other students that are not in that category. What happens is they get an assignment to read this chapter and then answer these questions. They don't read the chapter, they just go to the questions, and then they go through the chapter to try to find the answers to those questions. And all that happens is they have turned in a piece of paper. That's all they've done. They have not learned anything, you say, okay? So they're actually cheating themselves. So I'm sure all of you have run into people that they can spout off all kinds of statistics and things they know about. They just happen to know about anything. You mention anything and they'll tell you all about it, okay? They talk about all kinds of different things. But can they do anything with it? You see, a lot of times they're not necessarily productive. They're not necessarily successful in their job, in their career, or whatever. In fact, I'm sure if you think back, okay, those of you who have been out of school for a little while, a couple of years, okay, so you can probably think back with there were students in your classes that consistently got A's, got A's, got A's, got A's. Couldn't do anything on the subject at all, okay? That's studying for the test. That's studying, and you get grades, it's good. That's why a lot of businesses are now looking at not just the grades, because they see a lot of students that come in, they're great grades. They can't do anything. They have to train them all over again, okay? So what are they looking for? They're looking for somebody that can actually do something, okay? So that's something that students can actually start right now, is taking a look at how they study. Not for the test, can they learn to apply it? Can they actually, and that's what we do here. So anyway, that's basically it. I went through it very quickly. Thank you very much for coming. I hope that you actually learned some very valuable things here in regard to college, college selection, and also doing research for potential careers and some things to consider for doing your research in that. There will be, so you've got the paperwork here, and we have some questionnaires here if you have a evaluation. If you could please fill out the evaluation, and as part of your attendance here, we have a little packet of information also for Success Tutoring, so that in fact Maureen, my assistant, is going to pass it out. So now, for attending here, if you actually decide to actually get some additional tutoring, you get a discount on your tutoring just for attending here. There's information also there on our services, what we offer, what we do, and also now the next workshop that we do is going to be it's going to be Cynthia, and that one's going to be all about the finances, how to win at the financial aid game, and how to actually do. She didn't get into all the specifics here. She kind of went into a little bit of that, touched on those, but she gets all of the specifics in that particular workshop. And in the packet of information you'll be getting, there's the date for that. You should definitely make your time to go to that, and also let others know about it that may be of interest, that may be interested in that, okay? Any questions on anything that I covered? No? Okay, brilliant, I went pretty fast, okay? Yes?
What about careers that, you get some job experience? It's, my cousin, for example, went to Costco, and I told her, don't just look at this as a box building. See if Costco offers you to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
She says there is something called like Costco University.
Right.
And that's why I try, even if it's entry level, FedEx, UPS, you're there a while.
Right.
They say, look, you can go get a little, degree or cert, and you can come back and get paid a little more.
Right, exactly. Now the thing is, that is actually good. So going into and getting started, at a lower level job is totally fine. But you want to take a look at and keep your focus on the higher level, and keeping in mind, again, technology. See, because if you get into something that, even if it actually pays more, but it's a repetitive thing, then very, very easily you can be outsourced to a robot, outsourced to artificial intelligence, okay? So you gotta look at what can I do that is gonna be truthfully creative. Robots can be creative. They can learn to do things, but they can't think outside the box, okay? They can't come up with, new creations or whatever you say. That's what humans can do, okay? So anyway, so the answer to your question, yes, that's totally fine. But then she's got to continue, he or she's got to continue to moving up. So good. Any other questions? No? Okay, good. And again, thank you very much. Cynthia is going to be around. If you have any questions, you can ask her. Any questions in regards to tutoring, I'm available here too for a while. And again, we have brownies and
which are really good.
Yes, some iced coffee, iced tea. You guys want to stay up? Okay, thanks a lot. This workshop was presented by Success Tutoring, a very successful private tutoring center in Burbank, California. We provide academic tutoring to students from pre-K through high school, as well as college students and adults. All tutors are current or retired teachers that have been carefully selected for their effectiveness with helping students. One-to-one tutoring is available at our tutoring center. For middle school, high school, and college level students, one-to-one tutoring is also available online via a live, interactive whiteboard and video call application. For more information about our services, please contact us at 818-557-7379 or visit our website at successtutoring.blogspot.com.